Hey everybody, welcome to the Smart Scale Facebook ad method live session that we're doing here. Just give me one in the chat box so you can hear me and see my new screen. For those of you that have been on my sessions in the past, you may notice something different. I'm not doing the old one. I'm doing something completely new because you know what? It's good to experiment. It's good to try new things. I really like these colors. I think they're kind of cool. And I think you're going to like this presentation because it's completely different from what I've ever done in the past. This is actually my first time through it live, so you guys are my guinea pigs. But you're not here for that. You're here for the Smart Scale Facebook ad method. We're going to dive in 1 second. Just give me, in the chat box, let me know where you're located on planet Earth. So I'm in London, Ontario, Canada. It's about 16 degrees Celsius, cloudy. And that's about 2 hours from Toronto, 2 hours from Detroit, Michigan. You can see and hear me, good stuff. Let me know where you're located too. I want to see who the furthest away is on the session. We got quite a few people, which is good for a Friday morning. And a lot of people are like, Will, it's like Easter weekend. What are you doing? Why are you doing a webinar? Well, I know that a lot of people come on live, but even more will watch the replay. So my job is to get it out there for people. All right, we've got Denver, Colorado, awesome. Indianapolis, Indiana, Grant, Florida, BC, British Columbia, right on. California, 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 New York, lovely. Jamaica, oh, there we go. We got Singapore, lovely. You win. You're the furthest, unless we have an Australian on here because we usually get those. Any Australians? None. Okay. All right, I'm going to dive in because I don't want to keep you guys all day. I want to get this out there. I'm very excited for this. This is something that I've been working on for a long time. And if you know me, or maybe you don't, but what I like to do is I'm always a student. So I'm always out there looking for things that are working. And what I'll do is when I find something that somebody says, I'll go and I'll test it extensively in my own ad accounts with my own stores. And then I want to see if it actually produces results. When it does, then I add that to kind of my arsenal of methods that I can go to in order to get sales on my stores and sell my products. That's what you're going to see today is me as a result of that experimentation and everything. If my audio does go out, let me know. I'll keep an eye on that too. But let's dive right in here to my brand new one. So the question is, do you have a go-to method? Okay. If you do, you can exit now. And you know what? Sorry for wasting your time. I didn't mean to do that. The go-to method is the one that you use every day. It's the one that you're like, okay, I've got these products. I want to test them. I want to see which one's working. I want to then scale those products. And then I want to get people back to my store or back here so that they can buy more from me in the future. If you have that method already, go ahead and just leave now. Now, if you don't have that method already, what have you tried so far? Let me know. So there's YouTube, right? And like I said, I go there all the time and I'm constantly scanning for a lot of different ways to do things. And I've found like there's so many different ways on YouTube, especially with Facebook ads. There's a lot of experts, granted, and there's a lot of guys that have a lot of really big um, agencies where they run a lot of money for a lot of people. And I love that because when those guys are running big bucks through ad accounts, I can see what they're doing and I can pick out the best parts of everything. And then I can test it myself because like I don't run $1 million a day or like $300,000 a month like they are. But if it's working for them at that level, I want to get to that level, right? So me and my little, like $20 a day or $500 a day or $1,000 a day budget, um, is going to do well with the methods I get from them. So what I found though is there's so many different ways. There's so many different experts, so many different opinions. It can get confusing, and I could totally see how somebody, like for example, if you never run ads before in your life, if you go to YouTube and you start looking for ad methods for Facebook, I call it Facebook. I know it's meta. Um, you're going to get confused because one guy says one thing, another woman says another thing, another guy says another thing, and they're all different. And the fact of the matter is, like, there are different methods that will work for different circumstances and different industries and different product types and different, it's all different, right? So the ads that you're going to run, say a coach is going to run to fill up a webinar, is going to be completely different ads from somebody who's trying to sell t-shirts on a Shopify store or somebody who's trying to sell t-shirt or coffee mugs on a Shopify store. Like those are two different worlds. So the guy who's telling you one thing about that for generating leads for his webinar or generating phone calls for a high ticket coaching program is going to be completely different from somebody in the print on demand world who's just trying to make, money on really kind of small margins, which I'll show you a really good example of that coming up. But you get to the point where you're here and it's like, welcome to information overload. When you're at that point on YouTube, you basically freeze up and you're like, okay, I've got so much information now, I don't know what to do. And that's not fun. uh, a lot of people too have tried courses, which are good when released. The only problem is they get outdated pretty quick. And I know because I put out a lot of courses over the years, and people always say like, why do you do things live? And I tell them because I don't want my stuff to get outdated. I want to make sure that people get the most up to date possible methods, techniques, everything, because those dashboards change, everything changes. Like I have courses out there from 6 months ago and the dashboard's already changed. And it's like, what do? Do I reshoot the videos or do I just focus more on live stuff? I think live stuff works best. There's also memberships. I personally love memberships for learning Facebook ads and things like that. I think they're a great option depending on the owner. Okay, if the owner is really good at what he does or she does, I'm in. Okay, I'm always a student. Like I said, I have no ego as far as that goes. If somebody's further ahead of me, I want to learn from them. If somebody's a little bit behind me, I will still learn from them because they probably have some golden nuggets that I can pick up on. And then there's, of course, one-on-one. Now, if you've tried one-on-one with somebody in the past, it is a really good option. But the problem is it's the most expensive option. So, for example, like I have this $10,000 for 8 weeks thing. I build your story, run your campaigns with you. That's a very expensive route for a lot of people for $10,000. But they're buying my time, they're buying my expertise, they're kind of partnering with me to get the store up and running and profitable. It's kind of skipping everything that they would need to learn on their own. And there are programs too that I purchased myself that were like, um, $5,000, $10,000, and I did learn a lot, and I was very thankful for it. But the majority of the population is never going to pay $10,000 for a one-on-one program. It's just not going to happen. So those are your options, kind of what you've tried so far. Let me know in the comments what you guys have done. Then we'll move on here while you're doing that. So we've got courses, of course. People are saying workshops, yeah, one-on-one memberships. So there's a good variety in there. So just before I dive into the rest here, for those of you who don't know me, because you may have come through basically a Facebook ad in the past. You may have seen an ad for like a free course from me and you entered your email and now you're on my email list. Now I'm inviting you to this presentation, this session. So my name's Will. Hey, Merle, you can Google me. I'm a dad. I have 5 daughters, no sons. The only other male in my house is my cat, Smokey. I am a 7-figure print on demand seller. I've been working online for myself since 2007. And I have spent a small fortune on ads, but if you Google like PPC coach, that's me. Okay. So I don't want to spend really any time on me. I want to focus on all this good stuff, which is problems. So let's talk about problems before we get into solutions. So the problem that a lot of people have is they're not getting any sales. And they're like, all right, so if you're not getting any sales, it could be what you're selling. Maybe people just aren't buying it. But say you're selling T-shirts. Well, then if you're not getting sales and you're selling T-shirts, it's not what you're selling. It might be your niche. So maybe you're in an obscure niche. Maybe you're in a niche that there's no competition. Maybe you're in a niche that, like, when you go to the Facebook ads library, you can't find anybody else selling those T-shirts, as an example. That means your niche is the problem. It could also be not just what you're selling, but there could be competition, or even worse, no competition. In my mind, I want to go where the money is. So if you're not getting any sales and there's no competition in that niche of what you're selling, that's a huge problem. That means there's no money to be made there. So you need to go to a spot, to a niche, to an area, to somewhere where people like are already selling things in that niche, because then you can just take your piece of the pie. Another big one of not getting any sales is this. There's usually a lack of planning. And I used to be really guilty of this. I would just kind of wing it. Like every week, I would just fly by the seat of my pants and be like, all right, what am I going to do this week? Well, I don't know. I'll just play it day by day. If you do that, if you don't plan anything, you're probably not going to get sales because you have no strategy, you have no method, you have no system, you have nothing that you're following. And that leads me to the last one here, which might be no method to follow. Methods matter. So you want to be constantly testing these. Let someone else test. I don't want to put yields in there. And then you reap the rewards. So why bother testing a whole bunch of stuff on your own when you can get somebody else to test it and then you just benefit from everything that they've done? I think that's a good thing. And that's kind of where I come into the picture. Anyway, another problem is wasting money. So there's this. Number one, when you're wasting money, especially with ads, you have no rules in place. If you have no rules in place, you're human and you have emotions. You want to have rules in place to remove all emotion from any decisions that have to happen within your ad campaigns for you to make money. Humans get too attached. I am guilty of this myself. There are times when I have ads running and I'll be like, what if I just give it $10 more? What if I give it another day? What if I give it another $20? Like, it's showing signs of life here. I really almost become attached to that ad, and I just want to give it little bit more. But I'm telling you, don't do that because you are going to end up wasting money if you have no rules in place. Automated rules solve that, and that's a big part of the smart scale method for me is automated rules because I don't want to be in there watching that ad account. I don't want to be watching my ads. I don't want to be watching my ad sets. I don't want to watch my campaigns. I want Facebook to constantly watch it for me and be like a binary 1 or 0, yes or no. Did it meet this condition? Yes. Okay, then shut it off. Did it meet this condition? No. Good. It can continue running. That's the ultimate goal for this with your Facebook ads is you want to remove yourself from the decision making process as much as possible. And that way you don't waste money. Okay. There's also, as far as like wasting money goes, there's no plan of attack for testing, for scaling, for retargeting. A lot of people are really just flying by the seat of their pants. They're like, okay, well, my testing campaigns are going to look exactly like my scaling campaigns, and I don't even know what retargeting is, so I'm not going to bother with that. That's no plan. And if you don't have a plan, what's the old saying? Um, having no planning to fail. Failing to plan is planning to fail. That's the old saying. You need a plan of attack. You need something to follow that makes sense. So you don't want to be wasting money. And the way you avoid that is by having, well, another problem, of course, that ties into wasting money is there's no clear next step, right? So what happens when? What happens when you don't get a sale? What do you do? What happens when you get no add to carts? What do you do? What happens when you get sales? What happens when you want to scale? What happens when you put an ad up on Facebook and no one clicks it? What happens when somebody goes to your store or your website and they're looking around but they don't do any add to carts? There's all these different scenarios that apply, and you have to know what to do next. And that comes a lot with experience, but you can also buy experience. So you can learn from people that have already been through every single scenario of like, what's the next step? So if this, then that. That's what we're looking at here. If you've never run ads before, of course, you have no clear next step, which is very difficult to make any money at all. Just moving along here, for another problem that I see all the time is there's no retargeting. I've looked at a lot of people's ad accounts, and I'll see testing campaigns, and that's it. And I'm like, well, aren't you retargeting people? Like, what if they added something to your cart but didn't buy? They should be seeing ads from you all the time on Facebook saying, hey, not only, come on back and send it back to the cart, but you should be showing them the exact product that they added to cart. And then when they click the link, they should be loading up that product in your cart. So all they have to do is continue the checkout. The thing with retargeting is life gets in the way, right? If you think about it, the bulk of traffic from Facebook ads comes when on a phone, on a people are out and about, they're sitting there killing time, or they're in a line, or we all look at our phones all the time. So 70 to 80% of your traffic is going to be somebody who's on their phone. And then if they're on their phone, they're on your store and they're looking at, say, t-shirts that you sell. Well, they might find one they like, but then they get distracted, or then maybe their order comes up at the coffee shop and they go and get it, and then they put their phone away, and then they forget about you. Or maybe they actually went through and they were about to buy it, they added it to your cart, and then something happened. Maybe somebody called them, or I don't know, an emergency happened and they had to go away. you have to retarget them to get them back. These retargeting ads are the most profitable by far because you're going to bring them right back. You can also upsell existing buyers and you can cross-sell existing buyers. So somebody that bought something from you in the past, you can go and make them another offer for something else, which is a really good idea because they're already an existing buyer. So don't think of retargeting as only, somebody who maybe viewed something or added to cart but didn't buy. It's also running ads to existing buyers and making them more offers. Because the easiest way to make more money in any business is to sell more to your existing customers instead of going out and trying to find a new one. So we all know that. That's good stuff. But another problem that I see is this: there's no plan of attack. And I think you're going to like this part because failing to plan is planning to fail. That's what I was trying to mutter out, a second ago. And I want you to check something out. Okay. I'm going to show you my AI prompt now. And this is where in the past, we could not do this. Like even a couple of, well, 2 years ago, this didn't exist, what you're about to see. Um, let's say a situation where, well, I'm just going to walk you through the whole thing. You can use AI to help your business big time, to plan, to go through scenarios, to make yourself feel better, to give yourself hope, give yourself motivation. Once I show you what I'm going to show you, you're going to run to AI, to ChatGPT or DeepSeek or wherever you want to go, Claude, and you're going to start typing this in. And I think you're going to spend a bit of time doing this. I did this the other day and I was blown away by the results. So here we go. So I'm in ChatGPT right now, and you can see what my prompt was. I'm just going to walk through this real quick. I said, in my case, I want to sell at $49.99 a neck. I didn't even type it right. I totally have spelling mistakes in here. A necklace on my store. It's a dad to daughter one that I've already sold 8,100 units of back about 7 years ago. I'm relaunching it. So you might be thinking, Will, what the heck were you doing for like 7 years? Well, my supplier cut out the product from their company, and then the company that I was using actually closed recently. So now I'm revisiting this with another supplier. Anyway, I have a plan to run Facebook ads to it at $25 per day per campaign. I'm going to launch 2 campaigns per day and pause any that don't get a sale at $50 spent. Can you help me figure out approximately how many campaigns I'm going to need to launch? How much will I have to spend in testing? What could my profits be? Can you imagine uh, being able to ask somebody this and to get the results that you're going to see in a second? So ChatGPT said, you know what, you're relaunching a proven product with historical performance. That's a great advantage. Let's break this down step by step so you can get a realistic expectation of how many campaigns you'll need to launch, how much you'll spend testing, and your potential profit. And then they go into this: assumptions based on what you shared, plus reasonable expectations. Like, are you kidding me? AI knows what that is. So the product price, $49.99, campaign budget, 25 a day, testing rule, pause if no sale after $50 spent, launch rate, 2 new campaigns per day, your historical performance, 8,100 units sold in the past. So you've validated the product slash market fit before. And then let's also assume the cost of goods sold plus shipping. Let me know if this is different, but I'll estimate it at $15 per necklace. They were off by $2 on the estimate. I didn't even correct them. Like, blew my mind. I didn't tell them how much it cost. It cost $13. Amazing. Facebook ad break even cost per purchase, $34.99. So I just went with what they said. $49.99 minus 15. Target CPA, ideally cost per acquisition, under $35. But for testing purposes, you're allowing up to $50 per campaign. Step 1, estimating conversion rate based on testing. Since it's a product that's worked well in the past, let's estimate you get 15 to 20% win rate. Okay, so they are estimating my rate. That means out of 10 campaigns, 1.5 to 2 should get at least one sale within $50 ad spend. You'll pause the losers and scale the winners. Step 2, how many campaigns you might need to launch. Let's say you want to find 5 winning campaigns that can scale profitably. I didn't say this. They're coming up with this, right? If 15 and 20% succeed, you'll need to test 25 to 35 campaigns to find those 5 winners. That right there is mindset. And that just puts me in the mindset of, all right, so I'm going to launch 2. If they don't work, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to keep going because I know I have to launch like 25 to 35 to find my 5 winners. Those 5 winners could come right away. Those 5 winners could come at the end of all my testing. Those 5 winners could come every 3 days, like one per day. We don't know when the winning campaigns are going to show up. If I didn't know this from AI, and I'm telling you right now, AI is accurate because I've done this and I've experienced this in the real world myself. I didn't even tell AI my experience level at all. It knows it. So now they say, if you're launching 2 campaigns per day, you'll hit 14 campaigns per week, which is about 30 campaigns in 15 days. You could be testing for 2 to 3 weeks to find your core winners. Step 3, testing budget. If you test 30 campaigns, each up to $50 before pausing, your budget is $1,500. That's your max testing cost to find 5 winners. They're telling me, they're setting the expectation for me. They're reassuring me that, okay, you've got a good plan. Here's some numbers. Here's what to expect. Like in the past, could we do this? No, not in a million years, not ever, right? Step 4, profit calculation on the winners. Assume your 5 winners each keep generating sales at break even or better. Let's say the daily spend per winner scaled is $100 per day. So now they're telling me, you know what, you started at 25, you're going to go up to 100, right? Because you're making money. Nothing wrong with that. Cost per purchase, $25, revenue, $50, cost of goods sold, $15, profit is basically $10 per sale. And then they say, let's say each winning campaign gets 4 sales per day at $25 CPA, 4 sales per day times 5 campaigns equals 20 sales per day. Daily profit, 20 times 999, well, basically $10, is $200 profit per day. Monthly, 20 times 30 equals $6,000 per month. You know what? Everything they just said here is actually what happens. This is like, I was just absolutely blown away that they even came up with this. I didn't tell them that part. They told me. So here's a summary. Total test campaigns needed 25 to 35. Total testing budget 1250 to 1750. Expected winning campaigns 4 to 6. Daily profit post scaling, meaning I went from $25 to $100 per campaign. 150 to 250 per day. Monthly profit 4,500 to 7,500. Break even ad CPA 34.99. Look at this. Pro tips: use 3 to 5 different creatives per campaign to increase your odds. Dead on. Test audience and hooks. Dad to daughter birthday graduation. Dead on. Once the winner is found, duplicate it and try scaling it with a CEO or CBO or increase budgets gradually. Dead on. Set automated rules to pause underperformers early if you're not seeing any add to carts by $15 to $20. Want help writing ad copy or designing creatives for your first few campaigns? I can whip some up for you too. Okay, that alone, what I just read you, is mind blowing. That I don't know if, like, I'm sure you appreciate the value of what they just did. That's free. AI knows ads. They know marketing. They know all this stuff. You saw my prompt. I didn't give them half the details they gave me back, which is just amazing. But I took it a step further. I said, okay, you know what? Let's adjust that to $25 per test. If it gets a sale, it keeps going. If not, it's shut off. Perfect. Thanks for the update. So you're going to spend $25 per campaign instead of 50. Pause any campaign that doesn't get a sale at 25. Keep campaigns that do get a sale at 25 or under. Let's update your projections. So they just summarize everything again. How many campaigns? Again, 25 to 35, right? Testing budget is now 750. Imagine that. You know ahead of time what to expect. You know that, okay, I'm going to have to spend like $750 to test these campaigns, to find my 5 winners, to make the money that I want to make. That expectation, that is very realistic, and it just puts your mind at ease because now there may be a couple days you don't get any sales, and you're thinking like, oh man, I'm not, I'm on campaign number 4 here, and I haven't made a sale yet. And you're like, well, campaign number 4, 4 times 25, that's $100. You're at 100 out of 750 that you have to spend to find that winner. That one shift right there can make the difference between you being a struggling print on demand seller and you being an all-star print on demand seller, a multiple 7-figure seller. Because that one shift in your frame of mind and what you're thinking and what your expectations are makes it so much better to run ads. So if you don't take anything else away from this whole time we're spending together today, take that and run this prompt. for what you're doing. If you're selling t-shirts, adjust it to t-shirts. If you're selling mugs, adjust it to mugs. Whatever you got to do. The more information you give it, the better. But it's amazing, right? Half the original cost to find winners, smart move. Like I told my wife the other day, I'm like, ChatGPT and AI is kind of like a therapist. Like they are. They're like a counselor. They're like there to help you through um, anything you're struggling with. And so I did this prompt, and I was so pumped. I was like blurting it out to her, and she's like, "I don't really know what you're talking about, but you seem excited." And I tried to explain it, and she's like, "That sounds very cool." And I was like, "I am going to show this on the live training session because I want you guys to see it too." So here's a profit breakdown, and I love the emojis that you use too. Let's assume you find 5 winners. Each continues converting at $25 per sale or better, and then you scale each one from 25 up to 100, which is reasonable. So here's what it looks like. So now you've got sales per day per campaign, 4 times 5 campaigns is 20. Revenue per day is like just shy of $1,000. You're spending about $500 a day, and that too. You look at that ad spend of $500 per day, and you say, "Oh well, pump the brakes. Not going to do that. Never going to do that. Never spend. Are you kidding me? I'm not spending $500 a day. Really? If you're telling me if you're making this by spending this, you're not going to do it, even with your cost of goods sold at $300, that's your day. Your profit per day, $200. Your profit per month, 6,000. And you're not going to do that? So people don't see all these other numbers when they see this ad spend per day. That's all they see and that's all they focus on. Now you know to focus on everything else. If you get a CPA lower than 25, profit goes even higher. Bottom line, goal, 25 to 35 campaigns, testing budget. Look at that. 625 to 875, expect winners, 4 to 6. Meaning, I got to launch a boatload of campaigns to find these winners. That is realistic. That is not fantasy. That is just what happens in real life. And AI reaffirmed what I already knew, but they put it in a way that makes it easy to digest and in a way that puts my mind at ease because I know I might go through a couple days of crap and that's going to happen. We don't know when those 4 to 6 expected winners are going to emerge, but they're going to emerge. Mathematically, they will. Okay. So daily profit is there. Monthly profit is there. Amazing. Want to speed things up? I didn't even ask it this. If you really want to go hard, launch 4 to 5 per day instead of 2. You'll find your winners faster, but of course, you'll burn through your budget testing faster too. Need help creating ads, angles, or images before you launch? I can help. And I was like, huh? Okay. That's amazing. I should have said yes right there, but me being a little bit curious, I said, should I create a rule that shuts the campaign off if it spends $15 without an add to cart? Yes. Setting a kill rule at $15 with no add to cart is smart and can help you cut losers early before they waste the full $25 budget. Here's why that's a solid move. So they are now they said yes, and they're giving me proof. Okay. Your add to cart is your first sign of life. It shows the offer and product are resonating. If you're spending $15 with no add to cart, the campaign likely has a weak hook, is targeting the wrong audience. This is it, more times than not. Has poor product page, not for me, or something just isn't clicking, possible. So there's 4 reasons why you might not get an add to cart. Killing it early saves you $10 per bad campaign. When they said that, I was like, yep, that's exactly what happens. There are campaigns that you launch that just go after the wrong bucket of people in your audience, and you're never going to make a sale no matter how good you are at this. And if you only launch one campaign for that, you would never know. Okay, so for me, I have an advantage in this case because I have a winner, but you can apply the same prompt and the same information to your testing phase too, although I've got a better way to test things. So this is kind of down the road when you find stuff that works in the scaling phase, but I've also got a testing campaign that works really, really well. Anyway, rule setup. Here's the rule you'd want in Facebook Ads Manager. If spend is greater than 15 and add to cart is less than 1, turn off the ad set. Or if you're running single ad set campaigns, which I do, if the campaign spends $15 and add to cart is less than 1, turn off the campaign. Those are my exact rules that I already do. Okay, even better, add these tweaks. You could also stack rules. $15 no add to cart, kill. 25 no purchase, kill. This way, if the ad starts showing promise but doesn't convert, you can still cut it fast and clean. Like, they're taking over my job. I teach people how to run ads, and AI is now teaching people how to run ads. I don't really like that, but I love it at the same time. Bonus tip: want to go even leaner? Some marketers will kill even earlier. Really? You okay? $10 to $12 with no link clicks or add to carts. They'll set a rule for that, and that actually makes sense too, because if you're paying $10 for one click, odds are it's not targeting the right audience in the first place. Okay, but since you're using $25 per test, I think $15 with no add to cart is the sweet spot. So they're basically saying, hey, you could do this, but you're doing it right. And then the summary: do it. Yes, set the rule. If spend is greater than 15 and add to cart equals 0, turn it off. Want help writing the exact rule in Ads Manager or setting up your first batch of campaigns with angles and creatives? I got you. Okay, I'm excited. When I did this, I was like, oh my god, I love this. This is amazing. Um, so then I said this: once I have 5 winners, how much profit will I be making daily, monthly, yearly on this product, right? Because that's what we care about. We're human. How much money are we going to make? Great question. Let's do a full breakdown now that we're assuming you've tested and found the 5 winning campaigns. Each campaign is profitable, gets at least one sale per $25 spent. You're scaling each one. Baseline. Okay, goes through that again. Scaling assumption. And so they are saying that I'm going to take that 25 and I'm going to raise the budget to $100 per day. I'm fine with that. Okay. And then they say the ad spend's 100, sales per day is 4, revenue is there per day 200, cost of goods sold, this is per campaign, is $60. Gross profit is basically $40 per campaign per day. So if you have 5 of them, now you're at $200 profit per day, 6,000 per month, almost 73,000 per year on that one. And then they said, you know what? What if the cost per purchase, cost per acquisition drops to $20? Just for fun. If you optimize to get the CPA down to 20, very doable once Facebook learns, 100% true. Now you're at $14.99 instead of $9.99. Now your profit's at $300 per day. Now you're at $9,000 per month. Now you have a 6-figure campaign, $109,000 per year. Who wouldn't take these numbers? Who wouldn't? Like, just amazing. With 5 winners out of 25 CPA, about 6,000 profit per month. With 5 winners at 20, about 9,000. And this is just one, like, AI, man. I love this. This is just one product. Imagine if you build this out with upsell bundles or even a second variation, mom to daughter, birthday gift version. Want help brainstorming what to launch as an upsell or follow-up product next? I should have said yes, but me being curious, I said, you know what? What if I leave it at $25 per day? And then this is getting near the end here, but great question. Let's scale it back. So instead of going from 25 to 100, I said just leave it there. And the daily, monthly, and yearly profits with that at $5 per day. The ad spend on 5 campaigns is $125. You got 5 sales per day. Your revenue is $250. Cost of goods sold 75. Profit per day $50. There's your profit per month, basically 1,500. There's your yearly 1,800. What that does in a quick comparison says, why stay at 25 per day? Why not go to 100? Raise that campaign budget to 100 per day, and you're going to make a lot more money, right? Bottom line, even at 25 per day, you're still a winner. You're still making one and a half, $1,500 a month net profit. That's about 6 times ROI on your initial $750 testing budget. Meaning, yeah, you had to put that money up front, but you set that aside for testing. You had a full plan that you executed. It worked. You're happy. Bob's your uncle. You're making money. Now go find another product and do the same thing. This is what the big sellers do. This is exactly what they do. They have systems, they have planning, they think of scenarios, then they say, okay, now I've got all this stuff, I'm going to go execute it. And they're not just going to launch 1 campaign or 2 campaigns and then call it quits. They're going to say, nope, I'm going to do this. Now, of course, you need winners in order to scale them, but there is ways to get winners too. And I've got a really good way in a testing campaign. So you can let it run steady or scale it later when you're ready. Let me know if you want to work out what happens if you gradually scale winners from 25 to 50 to 100. There's a method for scaling without killing your cost per acquisition too. I said, yep. Yes, what if I gradually scale? Also, what if I keep testing 2 campaigns per day starting at 25 for 3 months straight? So I'm just throwing stuff at it now. I'm like, okay, I'm trying to trip you up, AI, because I want to see what you're going to do, what you're going to say. So now we're talking about scaling compounding profits. Let's break it down step by step. So part 1, gradually scaling 25 to 50 to 100. Let's say each winner at 25 brings in one sale. Now here's where it plays out as you scale it up responsibly, which means don't go from 25 to 100. Go from 25 to 50 to like 75 to 100. 25, 50, 75, we know these numbers. So each winner, once scaled to $100 per day, should bring in 1,100, basically $1,200 per month profit on its own. Multiply that by 5, you're at 6,000. And then here's something too. They know this. Pro tip, scale 20 to 30% every 3 to 4 days to avoid shocking Facebook's algorithm, or duplicate the campaign and launch the clone at a higher budget. Works well too. That is what I do. Like I didn't even, I've never told AI that was like a huge part of my method. They told me, which was me. I don't know if they're reading my mind or what, but it just blows my mind. And then I said, okay, part 2, testing 2 new campaigns daily at 25 a day for 3 months instead of like, I think it was a couple weeks. I said, do it for 3 months. So that's 90 days. Total campaigns, 180. Total testing budget now goes up all the way up to like $4,500. And then the 15% success rate means out of that 180 tests campaigns, I'm going to have 27 winners. Now let's break that down. So testing spend 4,500, winners found 2,700, scaled to $100 per day, because why not? $2,700 per day ad spend. This is where you're like, if you just started watching me right now, you'd be like, okay, I'm turning this off. No way, this guy's crazy. I'm nowhere near that level. I can't do that. No, Will, I'm out of here. Okay, but that's you can get there. Okay, sales per day 108, revenue per day 5,400, cost of goods sold there, profit per day. There's the magic number, $1,000 profit per day, profit per month, profit per year, 3,200 per month, profit, not revenue, profit. Okay. What this tells us, you could spend $4,500 in 90 days and build a machine that makes 30,000 profit per month from a single necklace. This hinges on continued testing, cutting losers early, and scaling winners smartly. Okay. Want to take it further? Once you lock in a winner, add upsells, add bundles, add email, retargeting, of course, add lookalike audiences, test the same angle but with different creatives or ad copy, of course, and there we go. Okay, so I stopped there, and I see a question coming in here already. Um, Devil's advocate here, you're assuming that the product continues selling so many every day. Yes, I am. And I'm assuming that based on my past experience of exactly that happening. When you land on a winning product, they don't like, okay, if you're going to do a holiday product, yeah, you have seasonality, you have a certain time frame that you can make this work. There are also evergreen products that just sell year round, and they actually do. And yes, they pick up pace around holidays, but they still sell in between the holidays too. So I'm basing what I did here on my past experience, having a gigantic winner that I wish I scaled harder, to be honest. I kind of got lazy and left it on autopilot. But if I had done what you just saw on your screen right now, I would have pulled in way more money from that one product. Okay. So that's when you find a winner. All right, let's go back here. Is that pretty cool? I think so. I think that plan of attack, just having that and having it reaffirmed by AI, and AI is smart on this, unfortunately. They have access to more information. How good the information is one thing. My one daughter hates AI. She can't stand it. Whenever I use AI to like write Facebook ad copy or anything, she gets upset. Or I recently used AI to create like a 104-page ebook to sell in the niche of one of my stores. And I showed it to her and she's like, how do you know it's true? And I'm like, well, I can read it and I can see if it's true. I don't see anything that's out of the ordinary. She goes, but you didn't write that yourself. I'm like, no, I told them to write it. They're like my employee. Anyway, no plan of attack is big. Using AI to reinforce your plan of attack is always a good idea. Okay, so now here's the other problem, and then we'll keep going through this. That took a little bit longer than I thought. I'm sorry about that, but I love that. I love that part. So if you have the wrong mindset, it's not going to work. We did a little bit of this, but if you want to make big bucks, do you know what it takes? So check this out. So this is a little sheet I did up. Very, not nearly as pretty as the results I got from ChatGPT. But let's say you want to make $5,000 a month. You're selling a T-shirt for like $29.99. Okay, so I built in the ad costs and the production costs already to this model. but your margin on a t-shirt is probably going to be like 15%. So your in your ad account for Facebook, the ad spend only, return on ROAS, return on ad spend, is going to show as a 2.3, but the true one is about a 1.15. Okay, so this is what you'll see in your dashboard in your ad account. This is what is actually, end of day in your bank account after your production costs and everything else, fees and all that other stuff that you have to tie in. So if you have a goal of $5,000 a month, you need 38,000 in revenue. 16 is going to go to ad costs. 16 is going to go to production, which leaves your total cost at like 33. Okay. So now what I did too is I broke down hourly, and I actually did this sheet before I did the thing on ChatGPT. I wish I did ChatGPT first because I wouldn't have had to do this sheet. But anyway, monthly, how many t-shirts in this case at $29.99 would you have to sell? 1,278. How much is that daily? 43 a day, 1.5 an hour. So I'm doing this because of mindset. I want you to see what it takes to get to these numbers so that you're prepared. And then when you go to run ads, you're like, okay, if I'm sitting there at, $20 a day total, you'll make money. It's just going to take a long time. You can do it. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with starting small, getting some experience, getting some winners under your belt, getting some confidence. But eventually, if you do want to make the big bucks, you got to spend the big bucks. And I would never recommend jumping into the big bucks right away because it's too scary, especially if you've never done it before, right? So that's the purpose of this, is to get your mind wrapped around these numbers and it becomes normal. So daily, you would have to be spending like $555.56 per day in ads to make that 43 sales per day, which is like 16,000 per month, which is like 200,000 per year. Okay, so this is the line that a lot of people focus on and get stuck on. They don't look at this line, which is the revenue. So if you're spending 200,000 on ads a year and you're pulling in 460,000 a year, even after production costs, that's a profit of 60,000. This is t-shirts, which have a very, very slim margin to work with. Like 15% is being generous too. It could be 10%. In fact, if I change this to a 10, watch the numbers change. All of a sudden, I got to spend more money, $833 per day instead of $555. So your margin matters big time. I use 15. That's a healthy one. And then I said this. Okay, my campaign budget per day is $5. How many campaigns do I need to spend this amount? 111. That is difficult to manage. That's a lot. Okay. If you're spending that much per day, you want to be somewhere over here at $25 per day on 22 campaigns or $50 per day on 11 campaigns. It's a little bit easier to manage that. You can start here and you can raise that budget to 10, to 20, to 25, to 50, to 100. And then if you're at this target spend with $100 per day, you need 6 campaigns to do that. That's what this sheet will show you. Basically, the same type of mindset stuff that you saw from the AI one is right here. But this is important when you're running ads because you got to wrap your head around those big numbers. Now, if you're only spending money and you never have anything coming back in, then there are other issues that have to be dealt with. If that is the case, then you need to pause your ad and figure out if your products aren't getting any clicks at all from ads, it's probably your product. So you got to make a new one, make a better variation. Go do some research, find some bestsellers, make your own variations of those, put those up, and then see. And then if you're getting clicks, but you're not getting anybody adding to cart, there's something on your site. Maybe your pricing is a little off. Maybe you're not running any kind of bundle deals or discounts or special offers or, buy two, get one free, that kind of thing. You're not getting them tempted enough to add it to cart. Okay. Or maybe they wanted to add to cart, but life got in the way. So there's all these other factors. And then maybe they added to cart, but they didn't buy. So maybe your checkout's broken. And that does happen. I've seen that multiple times from multiple people where they weren't connected to the payment processor correctly, or the shipping on the product was not set up. It just wasn't set up, period. So when the person got to the checkout page and they tried to enter the address, it would throw a message up saying, product not available. And I know there's people on this call right now that happened to, but it's more than just the people on the call. I've seen it multiple times before. It happened in my own store too, on a product that I uploaded. One of those platters, I got the same thing. Anyway, point is, your mindset matters. Okay, if you want to make big bucks, you got to know what it takes, and you got to accept what it takes. That's it. That's the whole point of that. The problems are going to be gone because we do have solutions, right? The solution is follow a plan. If you're like, I don't have a plan, I don't know what the plan is, that's okay. You need a plan for testing, growing, retargeting, scaling, and even manual bidding. There's a lot of parts to the plan. And the part that I showed you with ChatGPT, you can't even get to unless you do the testing part first. Then you're going to grow, then you're going to retarget, then you're going to scale, then you're going to get into manual bidding. These all have different aspects to them. So testing means this: show all your products. Just put them out there. If a product's going on your store, you should be willing to advertise it. It shouldn't just be a filler product that you put on your store for the sake of putting it on your store. Now, think of this. If you have a store where you have a million different niches and a million different target markets that you're trying to sell to, how well is your store going to do if you're showing all your products in your ads? Probably not. The solution? Pick a niche. Pick a niche. Niche down. Okay? Focus on that niche. Which ones work? Which ones don't? That's what testing is going to tell you with your ads. Once you know which ones work, which is going to be the minority, not everything's going to work. In fact, the bulk of your products that you show are not going to work. You're focused on the ones that do work in the testing phase. Once you have that, you're going to go to the growing phase. That means you found some winners in the testing phase. Now, how do you scale it? Do you jump to big budgets? Do you go with smaller budgets? Spoiler alert, don't jump to big budgets ever right away. There's no need. In fact, I've tried like so much in the past to push a big budget right away, and it never works. It's got to start small, which is good because we're human and we want to start small, make sure it's working. Then we'll ramp it up as we get more experience, as we get more comfort, as everything feels better. So in the growing phase, we're working on our winners. We're going to scale that with smaller budgets to start, and then we're going to grow those budgets over time as they continue to succeed. Now, while all that's going on, the testing and the growing phase, we want to look at the retargeting phase. Did they do any of this? Did they add to cart but didn't buy? Bring them back. So this one is one of the most important ones because they were right there. They were just about to pull out their credit card and enter it into your checkout, and then something happened and they didn't. So we want to get them back to that point in time so they can finish that order. Okay, we're going to retarget them. Now, did they view but they didn't add to cart? Maybe offer them a discount. We could set up a set of ads that say, hey, we noticed you were checking out our store. Come on back, take 10% off anything. We can do that. That's possible. We could run that only through ads. That's entirely possible. And it does work very well. Or did they buy something? Offer them more. If they bought a shirt from you, offer them other products. Offer them a mug. Offer them a hoodie. Offer them a candle. Offer them a canvas print. Offer them a necklace. Offer them something else, something that they might like. The easiest people to sell to are the people who have already bought something from you in any business, in anywhere in the world. So that's the retargeting phase. That's what we need to do. So we've got our testing, growing, retargeting, now scaling. This is my favorite part. This is the best campaign because this is where you really make the money, right? For me, scaling and setting up that campaign, I want it to be as hands-off as possible. All I really want to do on the campaign is adjust the budget up or down. So that campaign cannot be a testing ground. It can only have the best of the best in it. That means good ads only. No garbage goes in my scaling campaign. It's also the least involved campaign because I've already tested, I've already grown, I've already have retargeting set up. Now my scaling is just to really stomp on the gas pedal and get the most out of that with the least amount of interaction from me. So the rules that I may apply to a scaling campaign are not going to be the same rules that I apply to a testing campaign because they're totally different. Because I know my scaling campaign only has the best of the best in it, right? So scaling, setting up that campaign, That's down the road for most people. But once you get to that phase, that's when you're making really good money. And then you're like, you know what, that scaling campaign's working. Okay, let's control costs even more with a little bit of manual bidding thrown in. This way you can scale even further and you can rein in Facebook's algorithm to only show your ad if Facebook thinks it's going to be able to get like a cost per CPA or CPP, cost per acquisition or cost per purchase of the number that you tell it. So we can't start there with manual bidding. I wish we could, but we can't. I've tried to. The ad account needs to be, I don't want to say seasoned, but there needs to be enough money run through the ad account that Facebook knows exactly who your target market is in order to make the manual bidding part of the scaling phase work the best. So you might be thinking, okay, Will, I have no idea what the heck you're talking about. That is all over my head. I get the gist, but what are my options here? Well, you've got two, basically. You can do it all alone. So take everything I just showed you and try and piece together your own plan. So eventually you might get it. It takes a little bit longer, costs a little bit more, and can be very frustrating, especially if you're not really experienced with Facebook ads. It can be very, very frustrating. If you have a lot of experience, you might be able to replicate what I just showed you in your own ad accounts very easily. Okay. Or option two here is the good one, which is get some help. Let me teach you. All right. Every single step over my shoulder, repeat what you see in your own ad account. Save time, save money, be happy. I think this route is the best one. And this is a route that I try to take with everything that I do. Even now with my business, I still join memberships. I still buy courses. I still buy workshops. I still go on YouTube. I'm trying to absorb as much as possible. And my advantage is I can filter that through my lens of I've had success. So I can look at stuff and say, okay, I'm going to take that part of what they said and I'm going to test that in my own ad accounts to see if it works. If it does, awesome. I'm going to use that. If it doesn't work, it goes in the garbage bin. I can do that a lot faster than a lot of people because of just how long I've been doing it. That's it. It's, once you've been doing it for like since, I don't know, 18 years, you can do that too. No problem at all. But I think that's the best option right now. Well, I know it is. And that's kind of why you're here. So I've got a little package here. I'll show you the deliverables in a second, but I want to go through this real quick. I put together the boot camp, okay, for the Smart Scale Facebook ad method. It's called the Smart Scale Boot Camp, basically, and it comes with this. So it comes with the. I'll show you deliverables, but I'm going to throw in a couple bonuses for you too. I probably should put deliverables above this. Remember, you're my guinea pig. So I'm going to offer a support group to get help. The boot camp lives there in the support group. It's got about $1,000 value. Then I've also got, I'm going to throw in a previous Facebook ads boot camp. So that's 3 training sessions. There might be 4 in that one, but you can see how things have changed. Okay. There's still golden nuggets in it. Spelled nuggets wrong. Check that. There we go. That's got about $9.97 value. That's going to be yours too. And then I've also got the Shopify course I'm going to throw in, which is, I think, 103 videos. And it includes personalization training. Although the personalization training in there is using a company that I like, there's a better one available now too. So that includes free traffic methods and email marketing. Basically everything in the kitchen sink is in that Shopify course. I'm going to throw that in as a bonus, which is $9.97 value. And then I'm going to throw this into AI Design and Mockup Bootcamp. You saw me use AI to plan, to get reinforcement, to get me in the right frame of mind for just my strategy. But you can also apply AI to designs and mockups. It's the future, right? I use it for designs. I use it for mockups. I got a full boot camp on that. I'm going to throw in for a $9.97 value. And then this one, my tiny test method. If you're on a very tight budget, this one works. It's a 1-hour training, about a $4.97 value. This is the method that I still do use, but I do have a second method too for testing that I think it's not a little bit better. I would say they're about the same, but the second method is a little bit easier to run than the tiny test method. Just as far as setup is involved, it's less work, put it that way. But my test method does require you to have like a store. Okay. So the tiny test method doesn't. And then I said this, I love, I really do like talking to people one-on-one. It's actually fun to see like where they're at, what they're doing. And so I'm going to throw in a one-on-one call too with my boot camp here. whatever you want to look at. I don't care. If it's ads, design, overall strategy, store, let's do it. We'll do a call. We'll hop on Zoom. You show me what you want to show me. We'll talk about it. And I think these calls are really good because everybody's different. So we can do these calls at the beginning, in the middle, or at the end. It doesn't matter. Probably do it in the middle to the end so that you've actually taken some action from the stuff that you learned in the boot camp. And then we can go through and check your ad accounts. We can check your products. We can check your store. We can make sure everything's working for you. This is the personalized level that I don't offer every time I offer a boot camp, but I feel like I want to for this because I think it will benefit you the most to actually be implementing the smart scale method with your own products and then having me come in and just go, okay, what's working, what's not working, what can we improve, what do I like, what do I not like, and then let's get you making money faster. So the one-on-one call I think is huge. I think that's going to help a lot of people. I'm throwing that in along with the boot camp. So we're at about a $5,485 value here with my bonuses. Now let's get to the cost. Okay, I priced this at $997, but of course, I'm going to give you 50% off for $498.50. That is for a limited time. Okay, now why so much? It's basically, I'm giving a lot of value here, including the 3 live training sessions and the one-on-one call. So you can see, like, I charge a lot for my one-on-one, and I'm going to throw that in. Deliverables, here we go. So you're going to get the 3 live training sessions, which is 1 per week. Replays are posted inside the support group. Oops. And you repeat exactly what I do. And you're going to be a master of the smart scale method by the end of the 3 live training sessions. I put a week in between because really, starting with the testing method, you do need like a week to gather the data so that we can move on to the growing stage. Without the testing stage, we're not going to know which products to focus on in your store. All right. And plus, it gives people time to not to digest and take action and not be overwhelmed, because there are a lot of people too that they don't do this as their full-time job. I do. So I could run all 3 sessions in one day and be done with it. But I don't think that's beneficial to you. I think that's going to give information overload, so I spread it out. The replays are posted if you can't make it live, no problem there. So you get the support group, get 24/7 answers, network, no more flying solo, and the bonuses, giving you even more, which we already went through. So the choice is this right now. You can get this now, or you can skip it. If you get it, you're going to learn the whole method. Okay. And with that one-on-one call, I'm going to make sure you're doing it right for testing, growing, scaling, retargeting, and even the manual bidding stage. And the whole point is this. If you get this now, I want you to start getting sales immediately, not in a month, not in, 2 months. I want you to start getting sales right away in the testing phase so that we have something to work with and something to use once we get to the scaling phase and the growing phase and the retargeting phase and the manual bidding stage. We're not talking about, putting stuff in place that's not going to work. Immediately, consistently, and profitably. Consistently too is key, because when you're running like really tiny budgets, you'll get sales, but then you'll wait like a day or 2 or 3 before you get another sale. And that wait time in between sales can be crushing to your motivation. And your mind, being human, starts playing tricks on you. It's like, okay, I'm on day 3. I'm running a $5 campaign here. I haven't got a sale. I got a sale on day 2. I'm on day 3, I don't have a sale. I'm on day 4, I don't have a sale. I'm on day 5, I don't have a sale. Day 6, oh, I got a sale. And then you're like, okay, now how do I get more sales? Well, you are getting exactly what the campaign is designed to deliver. And that's a few sales a week. Not very many, maybe 1 or 2. But the wait in between is so hard. And that's where a lot of people fall off because they're human. You want results right away. The other testing method that I do is quicker. It's more condensed and it works on every product, not just the ones that you pick. So just different. Totally, I can't really give the whole thing away without giving the whole thing away. So you can skip it too. So don't learn the method. Continue floundering if you're floundering. Be frustrated, thinking of quitting it all. I know a lot of people, having coached a lot of people, I understand that it's tough, especially when you're not having success. It's really hard to keep going. I get it. I have really bad days too myself. And fortunately, I can lean back on my experience and I can go through that exercise that I did with ChatGPT, and it just reinforces you and puts you in a good mood, really. So which option is best? well, I would say get it, but that's your choice. Now, I do have people that have been through this already. I've got quite a few of these. I'm just going to see where I put them real quick. I've got some new ones here too. So it's not the same old. Oop, just on the other screen here. Whip that one by. Just going to my, I should have this folder up. Sorry about that. Just on the other screen. And you can tell it's live. Oh, there we go. All right. This is my friend Gary. Gary's in the print on demand coach. And so this is what he's saying. If I hadn't discovered Will shortly after discovering the world of print on demand, I'd be totally at sea and likely swimming in the wrong direction. Will's years of experience and data are just what you need to get headed in the right direction, even if catastrophe, should be able to say that word, should strike. He keeps his cool in all situations, has a plan for virtually everything, and is constantly testing new ideas to make the journey better, easier, and more profitable. There's one. There's another one. Natalie, Will proved within the first week that he's the most knowledgeable and compassionate print-on-demand teacher out there. I struggled for years with what, how, when, and for the first time, I feel like I have a real blueprint for success with a bulletproof plan. I can't wait to hop on each day and put it work in, learning and doing the things he guides me through. They say if you want better results, get a coach. Will is that coach. I actually didn't read that whole thing before. Thank you. I love that. And then Lisa, trying to run an online shop without a clue as well, exactly how I started. Enter Will, part coach and part digital ad whisperer. He's the reason my Shopify store actually got off the ground instead of becoming a sad little abandoned cart in the vast internet void. His coaching is gold, equal parts no nonsense advice, hand holding through the chaos, and sarcastic humor that speaks to me. I only wish I had more time to implement the learnings, maybe someday. Oh, and he introduced me to AI tools. So if this blurb sounds suspiciously coherent and polished, yeah, I had help. Blame Will or thank him. Either way, if you've got a shop or a dream and a domain, get yourself some Will. So I felt those are pretty cool. Um, that's what people are saying about my coaching. And now I'm going to go through some questions and then we'll close this off. So who's this for? Basically anyone struggling, not making money, wanting a proven system. Okay. What experience level is needed? Beginner, which means it's actually better because you have no bad habits that I have to break. I love working with beginners. Intermediate people, they've tried it for a while. They've had a little success here and there. Nothing really took off. Even advanced experience level people, I feel like you're going to benefit dramatically from this because you can implement all this stuff right away and get to that scaling phase quick. Will this work for my business? The short answer, yes. It's for print-on-demand sellers in any niche with any product. It doesn't matter what it is. The method doesn't depend on a specific product at all or a specific niche. How is this different? Okay, so it's brand new. I've never showed this before. It's the most up-to-date possible, and it's the best method yet. I know I say that with every method I have that I put out there, but I really feel like this one is it. This is one that I'll be using for years. Unless AI gets so involved that I'm like, hey, ChatGPT, run a Facebook ad campaign for me, and it goes and does it. But we're not at that stage yet. Although that Manus AI, if you've heard of that, holy crap, that thing is like an AI agent that can log into websites and do stuff for you. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm always a student. Okay, so how's this different? I'm always a student. I am not the type that says I know everything, although my wife tells me I do. Um, I'm just kidding. I'm always a student. That means you don't have to be, which is a huge advantage. That means I learn from others too. And I'm not ashamed to say that. So, like I said, if somebody's ahead of me, you're, yeah, I'm going to go and buy their course. I'm going to get into their membership. I'm going to watch their videos. I'm going to absorb everything I can from them. And now you don't have to. So I can be your filter for taking in the noise, testing it, and spitting out the best stuff on the other side. That's how the smart scale method evolved to what it is. Okay, we'll close that off. So when are the live sessions? Here we go. Tuesday, 3 weeks apart, 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern. And you might be thinking, oh man, I work, I can't do that. Still, if you can't make it live, that's fine because the group is there for questions. The replays are posted. They're complete with a summary, clickable timestamps to make it as easy as possible. And this is something too that I recently just added whenever I post a replay is I make sure I've got those timestamps in there. And I'll tell you, I use AI to go through my video, come up with the 10 key moments in the video, then put the timestamp that you can click, and it will actually fast forward to that part of the video with a description of what I'm talking about and a summary of the whole video. Meaning, it's as easy as possible for you now to watch the replays because you don't have to watch the whole replay and or if you have a question, you don't have to be like, oh man, I got to watch an hour-long replay now to see if you answer my question or not. Nah, it's broken down and it's searchable and it's really cool. All right, so the last question is this, and I'm starting to lose my voice too, so that's good. How do I join? Go here, www.printondemandcoach.com/SSM, Smart Scale Method. Click it. You'll go here. You'll see Smart Scale Method Bootcamp, $9.97 regular, $498.50, 50% off. There's your timer, countdown timer, of course, because this does expire. That's when it ends, and that's when we go live, basically within a few hours of that timer ending. Fill that out, press submit, you'll be taken to a thank you page. On that thank you page, you have full instructions on what to do next, how to join the group, how to get all the bonuses, all that good stuff is going to be right there for you. So the question now is, are you in? I hope so. If you're not, hey, no problem. Thanks for spending some time with me. Take that AI stuff that you learned and apply it to your business. Just, it is a fun exercise to go through. Like even you're like, here's my idea for a Facebook ad campaign. Go and walk it by, um, walk it by AI and see what they say about it. Like it's amazing. Okay, I'll take some questions too, and then I'm going to close this off because I do need a drink of water. Yeah, okay, so I am going to put the replay up 100%. Perplexity, yeah, is really good. Is this not included in Print on Demand Coach? No, it's not. This is separate, but I might be able to do something for you. Send me a message. I need time to catch up. Is it okay to start late after buying? Yeah. So the beauty of the bootcamp and the format with the replays is there's no fixed time. Like the group is going to be there basically as long as Facebook's up and running, and it just resides there. So if you join the bootcamp and you're like, hey, I'm not quite there, but I love what I see. I do want to do this like maybe a month or two down the road. Join it, and then you have access to the replays, you have access to the group, and you still get that one-on-one call too. Like it doesn't expire. I'm not going to do expiring credits or anything like that because I know that really irks me when that happens. Not, knocking any particular company at all, but yeah. So even if you can't do it right away, join, and you can go at your own pace. It is self-paced. The live stuff's cool though, because the best part about doing it live too for me is I hit glitches and I hit problems and I hit things that don't work the way they're supposed to work. And the benefit for you is you see me hit that and you see how I deal with it. So in real time too. So I don't have time to edit a nice video and cut it out. Although there was one live session I did where I actually had to edit it because there was something beyond my control. But you watch how I deal with those problems. And then you are going to run into those issues in your own ad accounts, in your own campaigns, on your own stores. And you'll be like, all right, well, this happens. So now I just fix it or I get some help to fix it. But it's not the end of the world. Because I know there's sometimes where, you get, if you're in the wrong frame of mind and something bad happens and you just want to like throw in the towel instead of going, okay, well, you know what, let's evaluate and then let's figure out our options and then let's do something about it. So that's what it's for. All right, I'm going to close with that. The link is right there, www.printondemandcoach/SSM. Fill that out, go ahead, get in, and we'll see you on the other side. If you do have any questions at all about anything we talked about, hit me up in the Print on Demand Coach group, like the membership, or email me, contact@printondemandcoach.com. I'd be happy to answer your questions and work with you. All right, my friends, have a wonderful day. We will, oh, there you go. Maybe you already mentioned it. Does it work for affiliate marketing? You know what? The testing phase wouldn't. All the other phases would. Yeah, it would. Yeah, I'm assuming you have a niche you're in, or are you just going for whatever works? Because yeah, the method itself, the only thing that wouldn't work, unless you had a store full of affiliate offers, the testing part wouldn't work. But yeah, the growing would, the scaling would, the manual bidding would, and the retargeting would. So 4 out of 5 would, definitely. All right, my friends, have a wonderful day. We'll see you in there, and we'll talk soon.